It's a ghost town, we're in this together. They're closing all the stores down, we're heading for shelter. It's all war now, they'll always remember. We're locking all our doors down, we're sticking together. It's a ghost town, we're in this together. They're closing all the stores down, we're heading for shelter. It's all war now, they'll always remember. We're locking all our doors down, we're sticking together. It's all ghost town.
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. You've built a love, but that love falls apart. Your little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why, but listen to your heart before you tell him goodbye. Sometimes you wonder if this fight is worthwhile. The precious moments are all lost in the tide. They're swept away, and nothing is what it seems. The feeling of belonging to your dreams. Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why, but listen to your heart before you tell him goodbye. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. Listen to your heart before you tell him goodbye. Listen to your heart.
dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me.
Hi, welcome to CLACCA ULC. Apologies for late running today due to Mardi Gras. Okay. So firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that the land we're meeting on is of the Gadigal and the Wangal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to the elders, both past and present. Recognized sovereignty, treaty, and social justice has never been ceded. It's ceded. Essentially, last night, yesterday, CLACCA ULC. Just a quick report back. Because we've got a few announcements to get through. Yesterday, CLACCA ULC joined the Pride and Protest March for the second year in a row for Mardi Gras. Essentially, it was a really good and inclusive event. there was a few bigots at the start of the rally, but we chanted for them to go home, and they eventually left, which was really good. Yeah, it was inclusive, and was very good. And this time round, yeah, the police didn't contest didn't contest the Mardi Gras protest, and there was no court case. There was no police brutality. It was a lot of riot police that was really unnecessary, but overall, yeah, it was a really good protest event. Um, and at the end, Rainbow Rebellion had organised a bit of a celebratory um, event for those who wanted a bit of a party at the end. But essentially, look, I think that the efforts of Pride and Protest to keep Mardi Gras political should be recognised, and should be fully included. CLACCA ULC is the as a backup plan, has a plan, because essentially I don't know if any of you watch the news, but I have posted the post on Facebook. SGLMG plans to return to Oxford Street in 2023. So if there's a logistical problem in being able to pull off the two separate events with that factor. I hope not. But if there is a logistical problem, as a backup plan, CLACCA ULC has proposed a church protest contingent entry, because we're still fighting for the equal right to march as a protest as part of Mardi Gras. Because the Pride and Protest the Pride and Protest Mardi Gras march has meant that those of us who don't get included in the parade has meant that we can still protest for our rights on the streets, and the streets, and that there is an avenue for us to go. There is an avenue for us to go in the events where we don't get included in the Mardi Gras parade. And so I think history suggests there was actually, in 1978, there was actually two events. So there was the planned protest during the day, and then there was the parade event at night that turned into a protest because of the police brutality. And I think that, look, it is possible to have two events, but I'm not really sure about the I'm not really sure about the pinktainment factor. Uh, factor, like from CLACCA ULC's perspective, we support Mardi Gras as being a protest for LGBTIQ plus LGBTIQ QNPSGDA plus rights um, rights. We, if those they want to go and have their payment events, they're welcome to do. They should go and do that as a separate event. And here, look, history shows that originally there was a proposal for two events, one for the protest event and one for the parade event at night that turned into a protest. because of the police attacks that happened at the Mardi Gras protest. Um, so essentially, look, and especially like when you're under attack, um, then you have to organize a protest to fight for your rights. Rights. So it's a normal part of fighting for equality. Um, quality. So I think that's look, those, the privileged few, if they want to go and have their celebratory event, well, they can go and do that. But I think that in case of the majority of us who are still fighting for our rights, let us have the protest event. Then, um, then, and I think that has got to continue to be included as part of Mardi Gras. Because there's got to be an avenue where there's got to be an avenue where we can go to just cut off the protest organizing simply because the privileged few um, don't want to fight for people's rights and um, just want to go and have a celebration. Well, they're welcome to do that, but let the majority of us who are still fighting for our rights here have our protest. Protest as part of Mardi Gras too. Um, so that's all on that matter. And we'll see who responds to the call out. The other thing too is that CLACCA ULC is back in court to stand up for to stop transphobic bullying and stand up for transgender rights within churches. Churches. As I said, we may have to go overseas. It's sees in order for our case to get heard. Financially, can't really afford it, but essentially, we don't. It's a no choice situation for myself. For myself, but the good news is that because it was ordained in America, in the event that I do in which I don't exactly know how I will afford it, but essentially in the event that I have to, I will be keeping you updated, and if we have to do this in another country, then um, so be it. And also for those who have gone back to school, I pray that transgender rights will be fully inclusive, and that there'll be no attacks. Currently, we're working with the CSU LO program in relation to see if the Safe Schools program can be implemented in the CSU School of Theology. And I will keep you updated about that. Another important reason to come to the court protest is we're also having to fight for the equal right for access medical treatment at a hospital that is in that particular location. Asian, because I currently don't have the full usage at the moment of my left arm because I have cubital tunnel syndrome, and we'll need the experts of the hand clinic to take a look at it, to assess whether or not they can give it an injection or not. Not my hope and prayer is that we will get granted the legal access to the medical treatment for my arm, and we will get granted the legal access to transgender surgery over in Canada on Tuesday in court. Court, it's just for a mention, um, but mention, and because their action against us, it's been in breach of the Anti-Discrimination Asian Act on transgender grounds. So my hope and prayer is that our call to stop the attacks against our church and myself will be fully heeded. Heeded, because trans pride saves lives. The other events are also stay up to date with for the latest events that are happening with CAR, Pride and Protest, and Rainbow Rebellion. Stay up to date with the CAR, stay up to date with their Facebook pages. And and one more important announcement: we will be having open communion as part of this church service. So today it is a message based on I am the resurrection and the life, and it's Ezekiel. It's from Ezekiel 37, 12, 14, Romans 8, 8, 11, and John 11, 1 to 45. Death is present in the journey through the desert, and in many ways it is also present in our daily path. The Lord liberates us from it. This Bethany family forms part of the followers of Jesus. Disciples and friends, that is, the personal friends, we might say in a redundant way. Jesus is informed of Lazarus' health without being explicitly asked to come. Jesus is simply told, "He whom you love is ill," in John 11, 3. And so it was, Jesus loved that family in verse 5. The Lord goes back to Judea, risking his own life. The disciples are afraid, but the Master reminds them that his mission is carried out in broad daylight, and the darkness in which those who reject him live does not make him stumble, in verses 7 to 9. In that light and without fears, the disciples will have to continue the task. Fear kills. Jesus calls Lazarus a friend in verse 11. Going to see him involves dangers. In Judea, death is threatening Jesus and his followers. Thomas senses this and says firmly, "Let us go, that we might die with him." Verse 16. This is the same Thomas who will later want to know if Jesus has really risen in John 20, 25, 27. The grave is a sign of death, but it is not closed to God, whose action opens it and brings forth life in Ezekiel 37, 12. Conquering death, they will know that I am the Lord in verse 13. God says Martha's reproach indicates that friendship can be persistent, and she obtains a similar response from Jesus. I am the resurrection in John 11, 17 to 25. Jesus embodies life. Believing in him means eternal life. Jesus is conscious of his mission, but he is also one of us. And as a friend, he shares his friend's pain and weeps with them in verses 33 to 36. The sisters think that Lazarus' death is definitive, and they tell Jesus already there is a stench in verse 39. Jesus remains steadfast and knowing that the Father is listening to him. He gives thanks and cries out loud, Lazarus, come out, in verse 43. He lifts up the one who was lying down, loosens what was bound, and gives life to the man who was found dead. This is the work of the Spirit in us. See Ezekiel 37:14. We too are called to bring life to a reality so cruelly marked by death, which the poor of the world are experiencing. In this situation, we have to defend this primordial human right, which is the right to life, violated by the growing impoverishment of the dispossessed and the marginalized in terms of the violence they endure. We must defend them without fearing the risks involved and today's frequent blackmail. The Spirit is life because of righteousness in Romans 8:10. The Spirit dwells in us and death is already overcome. This present must eliminate the fear paralyzing us, closing in on ourselves and preventing us from seeing what is new in our lives and from perceiving that God is challenging us right there. Jesus liberates us from the mediocrity of Christian life without vitality, but in no way, shape, or form acts as a friggin' hypocritical bigot. Our next song of praise is by the History Teachers, and it's Maniac Monday. Based on the story of Martin Luther. And then we will go into communion.
Germany, a sleepy little monastic town. Religious corruption ran rampant from the Pope on down. But a monk in school studied the Bible and he thought it was strange. There were contradictions and his conscience said it's time for a change. Martin Luther, looking for some truth, yeah. Next day Bible sleuth, yeah. The title was uncouth, yeah. Not to get that Martin Luther. Wrote down his objections and led into the cathedral door. Spoke out against relics and indulgences and some
Now it's time for communion. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, Jesus took a loaf of bread and broke it and said, "This is my body which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me." And in the same way, Jesus took the cup after supper and blessed it, saying, "This cup is a new covenant of my blood, which is poured out for you. Do this in remembrance of me." We say in CLACCA Universal Life Church, this table does not belong to the state, it doesn't belong to the church, it belongs to God, and all are welcome to the table without prejudice. Please come and share in this meal. Our next song of praise is Truth to Power by One Republic. Apologies.
I could tell you I was fragile. I could tell you I was weak. I can write you out a letter, tell you anything you need. I've seen minutes turn to hours, hours turn to years, and I've seen truth turn to power. If you could see me the way I see you, if you could feel me the way I feel you, you'd be a believer, you'd be a believer. Minutes turn to hours, hours turn to years, and I've seen truth turn to power. I could tell you I was ageless, but I know you see the light. I could tell you I'm immune to everything, but that's a lie. Dust don't turn to flowers, skies don't disappear, but I've seen truth turn to power. Oh, if you could see me the way I see you, if you could feel me the way I feel you, you'd be a believer, you'd be a believer, you'd be a believer, you'd be hard to keep going on. I said it's hard to keep going on.
we'd like to donate to the cause of CLACCA ULC. You can donate at CLACCA Universal Life Church, BSB 112879, account number 495470290, to help us get new equipment, as well as continuing the work of CLACCA Universal Life Church, not only to keep this online church service going, but to support the work we do in the fight for equality and in changing the churches and the world. Anything you can donate to our fighting fund would be greatly appreciated. And now for our final song of praise. Is Together We Can Change the World by Mark Shepherd. And I just want to remind everyone that CLACCA ULC will be continuing every Sunday with home group Bible studies for 3 p.m. and also 5 o'clock for weekly Sunday church services. Anything you can do to help support the work and continue the work of our church in Australia would be greatly appreciated. It's now time for Together We Can Change the World by Mark Shepherd.
We're going to change the world.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces out. Find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted. Roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. too late. Together we can change the world.
Thank you. Thank you.